Hello, everybody, and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to the 2023 OASIS Annual General Meeting. My name is Kirsten Jensen, and I'm Chair of the OASIS Board of Directors, and I'm pleased to see that a couple of you have joined today for this meeting. This meeting is organized yearly to present information and inform our membership about the organization's performance over its previous and completed year. Please feel free to ask any questions that come to mind by entering them in the question panel of the Zoom interface, and we'll discuss them at the end during the Q&A part of this meeting. Please note that this presentation will also be recorded and available to members after the event. Next slide, please. So today we're going to take you through the annual report, touching on our membership, speak to the accomplishments of our member community in 2022, and provide you with details on our financials and budget. But before moving into the details, I'd like to introduce the speakers today with me, who are Daniel Riedel, our treasurer, who will speak to the 2022 financials and 2023 budget, and Francis Billand, our executive director, who will provide his perspectives on developments in the year ahead of us. And at the end, we have Scott McGrath joining us as the Chief Operating Officer, who will join us for questions and answers. I do like to mention Jane Harnard, our Manager of Events, and Maribeth Minto, our Content Manager, who work behind the scenes to support us with the logistics of this meeting. So this year is in fact a very special year to OASIS. OASIS celebrates its 3 decades of advancing open standards and open source. We'll be celebrating this milestone throughout the year, and specifically with a reception at the Borderless Cyber Conference in London later this year. Up to this milestone, we'll be highlighting 30 of our most popular and foundational standards that really changed the landscape. So please follow our social media channels to see this happening over the course of the next couple of weeks. Next slide, please. So the 2022 annual report and auditor report were posted to the membership in April and provide members with a detailed overview of how the organization is doing. From a board perspective, the single most important obligation we have to you, our members, is our fiduciary responsibilities. First of all, I'm happy to report that we've not received any indications of malfeasance regarding the operation of the corporation. And secondly, our financial statements and management's responsibility for those have been audited by an external, independent and certified auditor. All of this is summarized in our annual report and shows that the organization is managed in a decent way and is doing well. The numbers will show, and we will speak to this. The reports are also available on our website. Next slide. So before you is a detailed membership breakdown comparing the year end of 2021 with the year end of 2022. To this summary, I'd like to highlight that the total number of OASIS members is pretty stable. What is also notable is that our open project membership is growing, which indicates that the open project as a product is gaining more traction and popularity. Overall, between renewals, new memberships, and new initiatives, the organization has done a great job, which shows we believe we continue to deliver value to our members. Next slide. So let's have a look at the accomplishments of our member community in 2022. Our members continued to deliver through their technical committees and open projects, which shows in several of these results. 6 OASIS standards were approved, specifically from the CSAF, ESAT, SEM, and PROMCO technical committees, as well as the OSLC open project. But also 15 committee or project specifications were approved throughout the year of 2022. And we offered 2 OASIS standards, STIX and TAXI, and those were submitted to ITUT for further international approval and recognition. Next slide, please. While not all hit a milestone of an approved standard or specification, all of the committees advanced their mission to serve their technical vision. And as such, I'd like to show you these numbers, which represent the year-end statistics. So at the end of 2022, I think we can show that OASIS has delivered value to its marketplace, now by totaling 185 OASIS standards, with 45 active committees, 7 open projects, and no less than 543 committee and project specifications. More details on this work are in the annual report. Now I'd like to hand it over to Francis Bieland, our Executive Director, who will provide his perspectives on the year ahead of us. Francis, over to you.
Thank you, Gershon. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you here today. It is a privilege for me to have joined the team. I've been with OASIS for I would say 10 months now, and it's an honor to be part of this team. And thank you for everyone over the last 10 months or so in supporting me and learning all about OASIS Open and its background and its history and the way it works today, and taking it into a leadership position in the future. I remember the first week I started, Chet, one of our chief steward, he mentioned to me, he says, standards are like the digital equivalent of a gauge on the railroad track. And 9 months, 10 months later, I still remember that. And it's something that's stuck in the back of my mind, the importance of what we do, of what we have done, and what we'll continue to do in the future. As Gershon mentioned, today, or this year, 2023, marks the 30th anniversary of OASIS in a position of leadership in defining open standard and for societal impact. We've maintained over 30 years the availability to everyone to participate. So our public openness, we maintain our independence. We've involved and created standards with the public participation. These are things to celebrate, and I'm happy to mention that we will have celebration throughout the rest of the year for our membership and also for our staff. The last few years since post-COVID, I would say, are challenging for every company and every organization, including OASIS Open. The challenges that we're facing are different than what we've done in the past, and we are learning to work more efficiently to tackle these challenges in new ways. And I think we are establishing ourselves and continuing to establish ourselves in a leading position. I believe that OASIS Open's ability to convene world experts and thought leaders have really allowed us to distinguish ourselves and reinforce a commitment that we have by our membership and our stakeholders. In 2023, we are acquiring new skills. We are extending our comfort zone as an organization to do more in order to tackle 2024. In 2024, we hope to be able to continue our thought leadership, set new goals, conquer new markets, and establish a new growth perspective for OASIS. Today, we are looking to change a little bit the way we do our work. We are restructuring our efforts. In doing so, we are looking at entering into new business verticals where we have not been in the past, where open standards are important and are necessary for societal impact. We are looking at work in the ESG space, in the supply chain, trade finance, digital product passports, apparel. Also, we're looking at work in the healthcare and pharma industry, all areas that best practices, open standards are necessary, are vital for growth, and I do believe we are perfectly positioned to do so. We're also looking at developing new offering where we allow our membership and the general public to join us in different ways that we've done in the past to lead conversation and bring new challenges and new ways of doing our work with the public. And some of these workshops are one of the new product or offering that we have are starting in the fall. I have high hope that the conversation we start early on with the general public and the community will allow us to generate much more work and impact with the product that we have. All these new products and these new verticals, we're not doing it alone. We're doing it with our membership, with our board, with governments, and the immense amount of relationships that OASIS Open has fostered over the last 30 years. Our membership has imagined over the last months and years a better future and a way to make it a reality. And that's what the staff here at OASIS Open is thriving to do. For 30 years, we've been committed to a world where where people can access resources to thrive. It's a big vision, but it's one that we know it's achievable. So I continue to say to our team, let's dream big, let's collaborate, and let's build a better future together. With that, I'll pass it to Danielle for the continued presentation.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to where everyone's at. Today, I'm just going to review some of the key points on our financials as a part of our yearly member update. So most key things here are obviously we remain in a very good, strong position from a cash perspective. We've got around 8 months of operating capital that we have available to us, obviously. And then as far as we look at technical community memberships are renewing at a decent rate, and we are also seeing more as Gershon mentioned earlier, some additional folks coming on open projects, and so we're very excited to see how that's going to affect in 23-24. And then obviously we have what we're working on with the ISO programs, and we have on the members supporting these in 2022. Can we go to the next slide, please? All right, so we did see growth in overall operating revenue from 2021 to 2022. This was good. This helped us have a cash surplus at the end of the year of around $97,000. That's very helpful going into this year. This year is a more challenging year. I'll get to that in a little bit. But overall, if you look at the overall operating expenses and where we are from a net income perspective, we're in a very strong position coming out of 2022. Next slide, please. This is our balance sheet. Again, these are our total assets and liabilities. The key point again is cash on hand. So we have 8 months of cash on hand. But this is our general net assets. And as you can see, that growth is mostly a cash growth between 21 and 22. The 3 million to 3.189 million. Next slide, please. So if we look at 2023 budget, this is a rough year. The team has been doing a very good job of working together and getting through it. We also have some additional, we've brought on the RED, we brought on some additional expenses for growth. Because of that, we are looking this year at having a deficit. Again, with cash on hand, we feel very comfortable with that. We will still have plenty of operating capital going into 23 and 24. But overall, if we look at what's going on at this moment in time, we are still seeing membership renewals remain high, which is good. That is definitely keeping us in a strong position. We are seeing additional revenue come in from open projects. It's something that we are learning, and the team is doing a good job on that. And so there is some fluctuation there, but overall, we're looking forward to seeing that financial growth. And then again, This is an investment year. You know, as Francis said earlier, we are repositioning OASIS to be stronger in 2024. To do that, you're going to see the same thing from a financial standpoint on how we actually create that structure as well. So the financial plan should match what the ED's vision plan is, and we are seeing that correlation. With that, yeah, there will be a Q&A period later on, but I'm going to pass it over to Scott. And I think unless there's one more, I don't believe there's one more slide. Yep, I correctly remember that. So pass that over to Scott. Scott, take it away.
Thanks, Daniel. We have a couple of questions, and not too surprising. They focus a bit on Francis's view because I think it's not too surprising, because we've seen these financial numbers in the annual report and other such communication with members. And however fascinating the budgets and spreadsheets are, you know, our members are more intrigued by the exciting work and not the business of OASIS. That said, you know, there's a couple of questions I'm going to try and coordinate them a little bit and make sure I don't attribute them to anyone specifically, if I can. But there seems to be an ongoing conversation about, you know, open standards, open source, and the world seems to be struggling with, you know, if there is a uniform right place to be in that spectrum. And there's a question here about, you know, what is OASIS's view on that, and do we have a vision of that right place that we can share with our members?
Thanks, Scott. It's a very good question. I do believe that today, I think if I step back, open collaboration is the key word over the last 10 years of open collaboration. Methodology and processes have taken a leadership position in the business world, from open innovation to open standards, open source, and many more. Is there a perfect position to be in? No, I think it's an ecosystem of collaborative tools that come together to create a better and stronger environment in the business sectors. At OASIS, we have an ecosystem of product and tools that we use. We have a series of licensing modes in both of our technical committees and our open projects and open source licenses for all of them. So what we do as a team and as an organization is for each project and technical committee that we start, we assess the right tools necessary for the outcome that is requested. We resource load the project correctly and move forward in that fashion. Of course, it's we develop market-driven open standards, so the market will tell us, and with the help of our membership, which of the tools and licenses and processes to better use. But I do believe that within the open collaboration ecosystem that right now is leading the business development world, we are in a very, very strong position. I think we are at the heart of it because there is no better way to collaborate openly than creating standards in which the industry can come together in order to create future value.
Great.
Does that answer your question a little bit?
I think so. And if the senders of the questions don't agree, I'll hear in a moment. So because the chat line is still open. A little bit of a follow on your discussion about the community workshops and new markets and verticals and things. How do you see that integrating and I guess one of the questions here is, and I think the answer is perhaps self-evident, but how does that fit into the ecosystem of service that OASIS already has? And do we think it's going to feed the pipeline, if you will? And I'm going to answer that part for you, Francis. And I think it will feed the pipeline because that's the purpose of it, right? We're here to help people. But that said, I'll let you focus on the part of the question about, how does this integrate in your view with, and how we're going to take these new verticals and new marketplaces, and integrate them into the OASIS community?
So it's really a two-prong question. So let me try to answer the first part. The new workshops we are developing is a precursor to any work we can do. what I wanted to do is I wanted to start a conversation with the community before somebody comes to us with a project. I want to ignite a conversation, be part of the establishing or understanding what the grand challenges are within industries, what are the major market failures. And that's what these workshops are there for. So instead of sitting back and waiting for members to come to us with an idea of a potential open standard, I wanted to actually start the conversation prior to that. So there's two ways these workshops will work for us. They will first, if we have a project that is starting or that we believe or a member comes to us with an idea, we can use those workshops to actually gel and crystallize this idea into a set of OASIS open programs. That's number one. And second, we can actually incentivize and collaborate with business communities in developing workshop to bring work to us. So it is both in a way to better set the standards and the deliverables for OASIS, and actually to promote new work and new development coming to us. So you will see it as part of biz dev, but you also going to see it as part of our deliverables within our existing OASIS open programs. Now, the second part of the question is, how does that work with reaching out to new verticals? Well, it's a bet. What's the best way to actually enter these new verticals than to start a conversation, to use open collaborative tool, to have industry leaders, thought leaders come to us in and around a workshop, an open forum, to discuss the failures that they're trying to fix, to discuss the grand challenges they have, and where can OASIS Open and our open standard, open source programs help in solving those grand challenges.
Cool, great, thank you. I have a few other questions here that are a little more specific to, some are about the, how the workshop work for, someone's idea, and how they can be in touch and talk further. So I am going to separately send those questions to the team here. The questions we received already, obviously, I'm going to send to the team and let you start those conversations about, projects and workshops that you see in your future as members. But Francis, and if for those who haven't posted that question yet already at this moment, that I can now forward to you, what's the best way to get in touch with you and to start those conversations and engage with the team?
No, absolutely, Scott. Any member, please just reach out to me by email or by phone. All my coordinates are available, and I'll be more than happy to spend time with each one of you to explain to you what our workshops are, how long they last, how do we the work that we do pre-workshop, the type of research, primary and secondary research that we do within industries in order to feed the workshop correctly, how we select thought leaders and participants, and how we turn that into a OASIS Open deliverable, no S. We have already right now 4 workshops that are in the planning phase for this fall. And I'm extremely excited. We're getting such great feedback from new industries, from new sectors of activities with these workshops, that I really think that they're going to be a great way for not only create new revenue, create new momentum in these new verticals, but also solidify our position in the existing verticals that we have been leading over the last 30 years.
Great, thanks. And as I said, there's a number of questions here I'm going to forward directly to the team, and I encourage anyone else with those questions to reach out further. As we might expect with our members, they hear a good idea, they're jumping on it, and they want to dive right in. And as much as we'd like to do that, perhaps not best done as part of this public presentation. So we'll carry those conversations privately going forward until it's time to become more open in OASIS Open. That said, that's the end of the questions, and I think we can move right back to Gershon.
Thank you, Scott. So to any of the participants, if further questions come to mind, as Francis mentioned, please do get in touch. We are happy to engage in any discussion, and you can contact us through the usual channels. Thank you very much for joining us today for this annual general meeting. We very much appreciate your interest in OASIS as an organization and its performance, and are happy to have you as our members, and we'll do our very best in 2023 to serve you. With that, the meeting is closed.